lines.
The most striking figure, I think, for last year was the number of orders, more than 1,000 again. So we are back to the times where the airlines are ordering a lot of planes. Actually, they are looking at their long-term planning and their long-term fleet planning with appetite for new technologies to improve their competitiveness, to reduce the fuel burn, to reduce the carbon emissions.
And that momentum, of course, now you have to build them.
Actually, last year, against the backdrop of a very challenging supply environment, we have ramped up our A220 and especially the A320 family much slower than what we were targeting. And we had to postpone our objective to deliver 720 planes from the end of last year to the end of 2023. So that's quite disappointing. That's what we see around the world with disrupted supply chains. Still, the demand is very strong. And today we had the pleasure to announce that we will be ramping up the wide bodies quite strongly, and especially the 350 will go up to rate 9, so close to what we had before COVID.
The order book is very robust. It's an example of success, but it's the challenge for you now to actually do it, to deliver the aircraft.
You're perfectly right, Richard. As usual, I would say. We have an order book that is close to 450 billion euros, but that's also a big responsibility to deliver those planes to the airlines which have placed orders with us. And that's why we're focusing so much on supply chain, but you need to translate into bigger numbers with a goal to be reaching rate 75 on the A320 family, so 75 planes a month by 2026.
That's 2 planes a day. Talking of which, the Air India order. Now, you got the bulk of it in a sense, in one way, particularly at the 320 level. I was reading a report in the local newspaper here about how that order came about, how the complexity, the length of time it took to get that order. Was it that difficult?
The Qatar Air India team has been super professional in the way they have approached the procurement of their planes. I'm very happy and very honored and very humbled, honestly, of the outcome, as we have a bit of the lion's share on the single aisle, but as well on the wide bodies. It's an order that relies on 40 A350s. That's a big number, and we are really very happy of this outcome.
On the 350, you settled with Qatar Airways, but Qatar had said there was a safety issue, or there was a potential safety issue. And there's no real mention of that in the settlement or the announcement, which leaves people like me wondering, well, what on earth was it all about?
As you rightly said, we have managed to come to an agreement and to a settlement agreement with Qatar Airways. That's indeed a big relief after 2 years of disputes. There's been a lot of discussions between Qatar Airways, Airbus, the QCAA of Qatar, the EASA, to find a way to return the planes to service, obviously in a safe way.
Can you and Akbar work together? I know the commercial realities, but this was one of the nastiest disputes in aviation that I can ever recall.
On a personal standpoint, we have maintained a very professional and even good relationship with Akbar Al-Bakr and myself. And I think that this is what has enabled the possibility of going to a settlement agreement. That was a difficult case. We had very different views, and we've managed to converge.
I'm going to just try this question and see how far I get. Did you end up paying any compensation for aircraft on the ground?
As you saw in the press release, the terms of the agreement are confidential.
You can't blame me for trying. Finally,
I don't.
It's rather gratifying to see all these A380s now back in vogue. Are you having any regrets at shutting the line?
I can't agree more with you. It's very gratifying to see those beautiful birds back in the air. I had the privilege to fly one of them recently on one of my trips. It's really a fantastic airplane for passengers. Unfortunately, we had to stop production back just before COVID. And I think for reasons that were related to the need of a very performing twin, long-haul twin engine aircraft, I don't see this reversing moving forward. So I think we should not have any regrets.